Hello, everyone, and welcome back for Aleph Tech Talk series. Today, in our house, we have a special guest, and her name is Gloria Sanchez. Hi, Gloria. How are you?
Hi, Yuzma. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be with you. I'm humbled by the opportunity.
Same here, Gloria. So, let me tell you a little bit more about Gloria. Well, she is an expert in Copilot, and she's also a GTM partner strategy lead for modern work. And in today's session, we are going to cover almost each and everything around Copilot, which you all need to know as partners. And along with it, we would also be covering some stats and latest trends, ROI, and the kind of business value this particular product brings to the partners. Am I right?
That is correct. I will be able to talk to you about what is Copilot, what are some of the early impact findings that we have from the early users, as well as some of the biggest partner opportunities that we see.
Perfect, Gloria. So the floor is yours. Let's get started.
Thank you so much. So yeah, let's get started. So, as you and I have been talking about, Usma, we're really at the start of a new era of computing, fueled by a massive advancements in the next generation of artificial intelligence. It's truly the age of AI. We're embarking on an important journey to help every person around the world to discover a new whole world of work, which is basically what, Copilot is really all about. And there are two forces mainly that are driving this, right? One is the people, they need and they want flexibility at work. And obviously also AI, which is transforming entire industries. And while AI itself isn't new, we have not previously been able to integrate these capabilities in a way that truly transforms how work gets done until now. With the introduction of large language models, we see the beginning of a new, more human approach, using language to command across your enterprise data and unlock new creativity and even greater outcomes. We call this approach Copilot. And when we talk about Copilot, I want to make sure that people know that we're talking about three things. We have the model, plus the data, plus the user experience, and obviously built on Microsoft's comprehensive approach to security, compliance, privacy, and responsible AI. Now, let me move into the landscape of work. At Microsoft, we have conducted an AI productivity research that we call the Work Trend Index.
Hmm.
It is conducted worldwide across industries, and it incorporates empirical studies as well to offer unique insights on the trends that are reshaping work for every employee and every leader. The latest report measures perceived and quantitative impact of Copilot on productivity among the early users. So what are some of the findings? This is going to be super astonishing, I hope, for you. Um, but 77% of all the early users have told us that they don't want to go back to living without Copilot, just as because it's helped them be more productive and creative, and they can see the value right from the beginning.
This is really
Overall,
fascinating. Hmm.
yes. And then check this out. It is also helping people be, like I said, more productive, creative, and it increase the quality of work on top of saving time. So if you think about all of these stats, the opportunity for partners here is not only to transform personal productivity, but lift the capability of entire organizations.
Hmm.
Now we have to think about of Copilot as being the baseline on where every employee gains new skills to write, design code, analyze data, or more. This is an example of one of the most common tasks that it's reduced dramatically with the use of Copilot. 64% less time spent on emails. And then when you think about information search, 75% of Copilot users spend less time searching for information in their files. And this is very interesting. We wanted to analyze real-time productivity gains. So we asked
Hmm.
Copilot users to do 3 tasks: search for information across multiple sources, summarize a meeting recording, and write a
Mm-hmm.
blog post. When using Copilot, users were 29% faster in all of these 3 tasks, taking 29 minutes compared to 42 minutes when not using Copilot. Now, Uzma, I'm asking you, what are you going to do when you find all this new time back for you?
Well, these stats do look pretty impressive, Gloria. And if I had this kind of time in hand, I mean, something I would be wanting to do is, spending more time towards innovation and seeing what new could be brought into the team. Um, whether whichever designation that we're working for, I think this is really really going to be very impactful. This is great.
10 hours per month is what we are seeing um, in time saving. And it's only going to get better from here as our products continue to get better, as our users understand how to better use the prompts,
How to use the prompts? Yeah.
right? So it's only going to get better from here. Now, let me transition a little bit about what are some of the biggest opportunities that we see for partners.
Hmm.
We're really at a point where we are at the edge of helping customers transform with AI. And we see a minimum of 190 million addressable seats worldwide. This will
Right.
obviously increase as we start making other channels available, like CSP, for example, or include other types of products, right? And we also know that 83% of enterprise decision makers are planning to increase their AI spend this year, right?
AI spend this year, can you elaborate on that?
Well, if you think about it, a lot of the conversations that I'm actually having with partners today, they tell me that customers are running multiple pilots of different types of AI, exploring different products because Microsoft is not the only one there in market,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So customers really are looking into what is the type of AI tool and capability that would really make my users better depending on their role,
Hmm.
depending on the type of new innovation that they need to bring to market, depending on the industry. So
Mm-hmm.
they're testing different products and different AI services to see which route do I go, or what combination do I need to plan for. But the spend on AI, given how much it's transforming, the spend is going to be there.
Hmm.
Like, let's not make no mistake, it's going to be there. Companies want to use their money to make their people and their company and the productivity and the end result of the work uh, with higher quality, right?
Right.
So I think that as part of those questions, right, as what is preparing for AI. So it should start by making sure that everybody understands the organization goals of using AI, like I mentioned earlier. Like it's going to be dependent by industry, by type of user,
Hmm.
etc. Some of the pain points that AI can address, I think it's super critical to also make sure that customers understand that there are some things that AI cannot do today necessarily as automated as or as easily as people might
Hmm.
think, right? Some products are going to be more mature than others. And then what are the organization's current capabilities? What that means is, what is your infrastructure? What is the
Hmm.
people readiness? You know, it just takes a lot of assessment around the organization to just make sure that the organization has the right capability to adopt AI. And then also like incredibly important is that to have a good data strategy in place. Um, and then lastly, right, having the right infrastructure and resources to just make sure the AI initiative is supported across, right? Like from purchase to people using it to supporting the operations that it requires um, to make it compliant and to make it safe and secure for everybody. And Uzma, I think that this is where we're going to spend a lot of the discussion, right? Because when we
Hmm.
think about Microsoft uh, opportunities for Copilot for Microsoft 365, we think it in these five bigger buckets.
Right.
One is the AI Copilot advisory. Think it just about general AI that includes probably services like Azure's AI, right? Azure AI. Um, we have GitHub Copilot. We have Copilot, Service Copilot, and 365 Copilot. So we have developed a series of copilots inside of Microsoft
Mm.
on top of other services that customer have questions about and how they all work together, because it's not only about Microsoft running innovation and that's it. No, a lot of SaaS applications, ISV vendors, right? They're also innovating and making sure that AI is embedded in their systems. Um, so it's about how the whole ecosystem works together and better,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Um, it's really about building the value cases when we think about identifying, like I mentioned, the personas and the jobs that will benefit most from it. In terms of readiness, we think about customer readiness, that they have the right licensing, that they have that they're already using Entra, which used to be Azure Active Directory. We want to make sure that on OneDrive, SharePoint, they are online. We want to make sure that it's well architected and documented how the classification and management of policies exists. They
Mm.
want to make sure that data access and permissions have been established. So again, these are just the higher level. Obviously, as you have customer conversations, the conversation will just be deeper and deeper, right?
Right. Right.
Then when you move to the phase of deployment, right, you might want to launch a pilot. 300 users is a good size to start running a pilot. Then here it's like you want to make sure that the right licensing has been deployed with Azure Entra ID, et cetera, that you're looking at assigning the users based on the prioritization that you have done. Ideally, all of these users would already have good app usage across M365 apps.
Right.
And also ensuring that SharePoint is set up with the right permissions, etc. Right? So it
Mm.
is, again, deployment is not as simple, just, oh yeah, I'm going to just assign the licenses and that's it. Then the next phase, it's okay, you have deployed successfully. What is that rollout going to look like in terms of adoption and change management? You have to ensure that your employees understand that Copilot is not here really to do their jobs, but to help with their jobs. So that skilling to write, again, going back to the great prompts and terms, it's super critical. Making sure that we also are working with HR to update the policies, like partners would just make sure that it is in compliance of the company. We also suggest establishing a center of excellence. Having internal champs always helps with adoption and acceleration of just making it more viral across the users. And then last but not least is our extensibility features.
Mm.
These are basically our plugins, right? That you can do it with LOB type of applications. Some of our key ISVs are developing their own plugins that surface across M365 Copilot, and it's partners can really help like connect systems and data and how to connect to Microsoft Graph. So it's another set of opportunity just on its own. And I think that I want to just also touch on some of the transaction details.
Mm.
Uh, because, Copilot for Microsoft 365, it's at $30 per user per month. It's only available as a lead status SKU, which means this is not this doesn't appear on price lists. So our LSPs, for example, or transaction partners, they will need to work with local Microsoft commercial executives in order to quote and transact. So that's an important step. And
Mm.
all of these steps, frequently asked questions, as well as transaction checklists, are in the practice development resources that I have on the slide. The SKU itself for M365 will be available through enterprise agreements, as well as MCAE agreements, EAS, and CSP will be announced in the near future. So what do you think, Usma, in terms of opportunities? What else do you think I'm missing from this slide? Maybe you can give me more ideas that you
No,
have been talking to other partners and we should.
right. I think you've been covering up pretty much everything. And this thing that you said that AI is here to not take your work but to help you, I think that is a line which we have been discussing with mostly all the partners and even our speakers, right? And this quite sums up to what you need to know about Copilot. But I was also wondering about the user interface. Is it like very friendly or what?
It is incredibly user friendly. Finally, I'm going to walk you through our product lineup for Copilot for M365.
Hmm.
It all starts with Microsoft Copilot, your everyday AI companion across work, right? This is what we have rebranded. It used to be Bing Chat Enterprise. And this is free. This is a free product for every M365 Copilot enterprise user. Copilot has the same, it has foundational capabilities like to answer uh, quick questions, create some content, reason over data, and it has the web grounding, so it has always access to the latest information. Then another notable change is that when you sign into your Copilot with Entra ID commercial, the data protection is automatically activated. What else? Now, if you think about the next set, right, like Copilot from M365, which is what we've been talking about, what starts differentiating from Copilot is now that you get the Microsoft Graph grounding as well. Obviously, it's across the Microsoft 365 apps. And it has now Copilot Studio, which it's part of our latest announcements. And then we have made role-specific Copilots, which we have now Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service. Those each contain all the capabilities of M365, plus those additional specific roles. And this is it. This is our suite, Usma.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Gloria. Well, I've been thinking about all the slides and as such, no question per se, but would you like to give, like in a nutshell, any advice or any, quick tips for our partners or some tricks, anything that you would like to sum up?
I think that it is very important for our partners to take the time to really, understand what is the customer really intending to do as they are putting forward investments for their for AI, right? So like getting into the goals and getting into the personas and getting into the organizational readiness, it's beyond the technical aspect. It's beyond the licensing. It's making sure that as partners are working through that plan, through that execution plan, they
Hmm.
consider all of these aspects, putting people and the user first, right? Because at the end of the day, companies do want their ROI back. Companies do want to make sure
They
that
do,
they're really truly making their teams more productive. And it
of
won't
course.
happen until that is in place end to end. So no cutting corners here.
All right, great. Okay, this has been really, really interesting, and I have been myself, taking some mental notes here and there for me to go back and research more on these things. And thank you so much for the demo as well. Uh, this session has been really, really powerful, and it has a lot of information packed in it, and I'm sure our partners are going to benefit. We would love to have you and invite you for more topics and more, talks going further. So thanks again. Thank you so much, Gloria. I think when I say thanks, it's on behalf of Alif and on behalf of all the partners that you're going to benefit. So thank you so much.
It is my absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to future opportunities. Thank you so much, Isma.
Thank you, Gloria. You have a lovely night. And thank you so much, everybody. This is your host signing off. Bye bye.